show you can. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas. Community farming for food security. Climate program suited for our island country. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas.
This message brought to you by the Bahamas Red Cross Society in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that is going to do it for us here in the North. I'm Raven Davis.
I'm Shane Stubbs.
Thank you so much for tuning in. The Bahamas Tonight is coming your way next.
This Friday night, the U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas raises concerns about the deal with China for the loan to build that new hospital here on New Providence. What Herschel Walker said and how his comments have some fearing the Bahamas could land in the middle of a geopolitical tug-of-war between superpowers. Prime Minister Davis opens up InvestFast and later shrugs off questions about Fort Charlotte candidate Sebastian's alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And Junior Junkanoo heads to the Family Islands. We'll share the complete roster with you this late night, Friday, February 6, 2026.
Bahamas Tonight at 11. The final word starts now.
And we welcome you to the broadcast on this very busy news night. A major international financing deal tied to a key healthcare project, drawing scrutiny from one of the Bahamas' closest allies. The United States is raising concerns about the structure of the agreement, while the Prime Minister says the government acted out of necessity after other options failed to materialize. Our Leah Cooper starts us off here at 11.
U.S. Ambassador to the Bahamas, Herschel Walker, is urging the government to reconsider its nearly $200 million loan with the Chinese Export-Import Bank for a new specialty hospital planned for Western New Providence. This in the face of concerns that the agreement would place the project under Chinese law and jurisdiction, while the loan would cover more than 70% of the hospital's total cost. In a statement released today, Ambassador Walker reasoned that it does not appear to be in the best interest of the Bahamas to submit to Chinese law and labor standards on its own soil, adding that the government should consider other financing options that follow what he called international norms. Walker further stressed that U.S. President Donald Trump believes in fair deals that benefit both countries and that the United States is committed to being the economic and security partner of choice for the Bahamas. When asked about the issue, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, said,
"The United States continue to be our partners, and we are always willing to talk with them. But the issue of the hospital construction is a matter that had discussions with the Americans' office. Our need was pressing, and we did not get the results from the United States that we expected."
He added that lack of results created what he described as a vacuum.
Where there's a vacuum, nature abhors that vacuum, and it will be filled. We have an agreement already with China. To now abort that will throw us back another 3-4 years.
Health Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, has also defended the agreement, saying the financing terms are concessional and necessary to deliver critical health infrastructure. In the House of Assembly just Wednesday, he assured that the project will include Bahamian workers, oversight by labor and immigration officials, and training to ensure knowledge transfer to local teams. Adding to the controversy, though, the United States Treasury has previously placed the project's main contractor, China, China Railway Construction Corporation on a restricted investment list, citing its ties to China's military-industrial complex. Critics argue that governing the project under Chinese law means any disputes would be handled in Chinese courts, not Bahamian or international ones, and that foreign labor standards could apply on Bahamian soil. The government, however, maintains the hospital is necessary to meet pressing healthcare needs and save lives, even as debate continues over how it's financed and who holds legal authority over the project. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Leah Cooper.
It sounds as though we're just at the tip of the iceberg with this one. Thank you very much. As in previous years, the International Monetary Fund has again recommended the Bahamas introduce a corporate and personal income tax, raise the VAT rate, and among other things, reduce transfers to state-owned enterprises. In its latest 2025 Article 5 consultation with the Bahamas, the Washington-based organization also determined that fiscal consolidation, ongoing electricity sector reform, increased capacity for tourism, and investment in climate resilience will be critical to further reduce fiscal vulnerabilities and foster sustained growth in the Bahamas. The IMF also acknowledges the economy remained resilient in the first quarter of 2025 due to a strong tourism and construction sector, while unemployment stood at 9.3% in the second quarter of 2025, and inflation dipped 1.3% in July. Despite its views, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, says the government will not be adopting the IMF's recommendations.
When I came in 2021, the same advice was given to me. I went the opposite way. I cut VAT. Right? Did not introduce corporate or income tax, and I'm not going to do it. I don't see the need for us doing that at all. The country finances are stable. We're doing well. I think our economy has perhaps been the best performing economy in the world over the last 3-4 years, and we embrace that. There's no need for me to accept those recommendations.
Mr. Davis was speaking to reporters on the sidelines of Invest Fest at the Baha Mar Convention Center, where he told participants the country's capital markets or financial exchanges must be built so that regular Bahamians are not left out. He also shared that while the Bahamas International Stock Exchange does well, the exchange is not a reflection of the full scale of the country, as there are sectors that never appear or companies that can benefit from listing but do not know how to go about the process.
We need a ladder of markets, private placements and crowdfunding for the early stages, growth segments for mid-sized firms, the main board for large and mature companies, active markets for both equity and debt. We also need better information. You cannot invest wisely in what you cannot see. Regular honest reporting from companies and from government is part of building depth. Third, inclusion. If the capital market feels like a club on Bay Street, it will always be smaller than it could be.
He took it a step further, beating home the importance of inclusion, noting that begins with financial literacy, adding that people need clear explanations of different products and the risks and rewards.
Inclusion also means access. A young person in Andros or Exuma should be able to open an investment account through a phone with fair fees and clear protections. A small saver should be able to start with realistic sums. When more Bahamians hold units in funds, own shares in local firms, and hold bonds that finance national projects, they watch the news differently. They talk about policy differently. They teach their children differently. That is how we take people along with us.
Meantime, the Prime Minister putting it out there that he's not fully aware of the allegations against Island Luck CEO and the PLP's standard bearer for Fort Charlotte, Sebastian, whose name appears in the Epstein files tied to gun and human trafficking. He also does not expect Bastian's name in the file to impact his political campaign. Bastian and Island Luck co-founder Adrian Fox both appear in an FBI report released with the files on the now deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, in which an informant in an FBI interview made allegations that Epstein controlled the Bahamian and U.S. governments. Both Bastian and Fox have denied they ever met or associated with Epstein.
I saw his response. I don't know much about what is in those files and what those files mean. All I know is that he has indicated that he doesn't do foolishness. He don't know what they're talking about. And when I see what is being said, I perhaps will have more to say.
Now at 11, we're hearing from the housing minister on what the future of public housing could look like. Amaya Moss has the story.
The government's $30 million public housing development initiative is slated to produce 147 homes in the Chippingham area. With affordability top of mind, Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal, the Honorable Keith Bell, says safeguards are in place to ensure the upcoming units remain accessible to working Bahamians.
It has always been a policy of the government to ensure that we keep the cost of housing down for the average Bahamian to afford. This is no different here as it relates to the Premier Estate subdivision. And again, once we are on the way to where we have put in the infrastructure, on February 10th, we have a public consultation meeting with the residents of that entire area. And once we pass that, we're going to go back to DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection and Planning, to ensure that we get our certificate of environmental clearing. We have the pre-approvals for the subdivision, and I can tell you that it costs anywhere from $35,000 to $45,000 per lot to put in infrastructure in these subdivisions. That is borne by the government.
The minister adds the new government housing developments are being designed to current building standards, and discussions are also ongoing on how resilience could eventually translate into reduced insurance burdens. And with thousands of Bahamians still waiting for a new home, Minister Bell stressed new initiatives are already underway to ease the housing crisis.
We have already started on a very aggressive policy to go in these areas, and I would estimate that we have no less than 10,000 vacant, abandoned, derelict properties, and we have started to compulsory acquire these properties. What we are doing is we are actually compulsory acquiring them, and what is significant about it is the land is there and the infrastructure is already there. So basically all it is now is for the government to construct new homes on these properties, so we're able to keep the cost down in that context.
The minister says while challenges remain, the focus is on balancing development with fairness, ensuring housing is affordable and they are resilient, and the process is transparent for Bahamians now and in the future. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Amaya Moss.
After the break, taxi union officials have productive dialogue with the Prime Minister. What they discussed. That story in the day's other news. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. Stay up with us.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Sweet and spicy, marinated right, tossed with chili. Garlic and ginger have many flavors, like honey barbecue.
Signature hot wings, turn down the heat for you. Those pepper wings, what's your flavor?
Roasted garlic parmesan, tastes so good, chicken. So many flavors to try. What's your flavor? Honey barbecue. spicy or new.
Signature hot, hot wings.
What's your flavor?
Roasted garlic parmesan, tastes so good, chicken.
Those pepper wings.
Edinburgh Napier University, Scotland's #1 modern university, is coming to Nassau. Join their free information session February 10th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the British Colonial Hotel. Study 100% online, flexible, and relevant. Visit scidegrees.com for details.
To a few other items making news this late night, Bahamas Taxi Cab Union President Tyrone Butler sitting across from the Prime Minister today for a progress report on months-old issues. But higher on the agenda, a newer threat Butler and taxi drivers are still trying to navigate.
The Uber situation, not that the Prime Minister has anything to do with that. That's an individual thing that the individuals who want to participate in that would have to make a choice if that's something they want to do. This union is not supportive of that idea, and we made that clear. So that's off the table for us.
The cab union president says conversations on creating a freer flow for taxi cab operations near major hotels and the cruise port didn't prove as productive as anticipated. But while union officials left the meeting with no definitive deadlines or dates, Butler believes they're about to see resolve soon.
With respect to the port and the airport, we anticipate that would all be addressed within the next week or two, because these are issues that was brought to him before. So we he seemed a little bit taken aback that there was no movement in those areas, because he did mention that he sent out some communication to them. So I feel like we should see some action on those within the next couple of weeks.
Also this late night, for many of our senior citizens, aging comes with new challenges. But today, a renewed effort is putting their care, comfort, and dignity front and center. Once again for us tonight, here's Amaya Moss.
These golden agers proved their strength in numbers by performing a variety of exercises at Urban Renewal's 3rd annual Senior Health and Wellness Extravaganza at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym this week. Even Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis got in on the fun and showed off his dance skills. But it wasn't all about the movement. These residents learned about healthy living and participated in vital health checks. With heartfelt conviction, Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal, the Honorable Keith Bell, underscored the importance of caring for our senior citizens.
And one of the charges that I gave to the elderly in there this morning is that we now have to make more use of them. And so Urban Renewal is you're going to see an expanded use of our seniors. As a matter of fact, in all of our Urban Renewal centers, they have a senior citizens club. And it is a joy when I move around to see the seniors interacting with children. They love to be around the children. They show them how to crochet, how to sew, how to knit, how to speak and etiquette, basic etiquette and those things. That is what they can pass those values on to our young people.
Echoing similar sentiments was Minister of State for Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Lisa Ramming, who made this appeal.
We love our precious pearls, and we would ask all residents living in the various constituencies, please, you have your mom, your aunt, whomever it may be, or your uncle or your dad, you know that they can be a part of our Senior Citizens Club. Let them come on down. They're in safe hands. If they need a ride, we can pick them up, we can drop them off. It's an ongoing program, and it's been going on, and we're not going to stop now.
The initiative served more than a fitness day. It was a reminder that cherishing our elders is not just an act of care, but an anchor of respect and profound gratitude. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Amaya Moss.
Thank you again, Amaya. Junior Junkanooers here in New Providence are still on a high from last week's premier event, but by no means are these celebrations done. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolag, indicated that the Family Island roster for the rest of the month is quite full.
I think this weekend we got Junkanoo and Andres, Junior and Senior. Then we have Cat Island on the 14th, Abaco on the 21st, and then we have Junior Junkanoo and Grand Bahama on the 28th. So that's what our cultural festival, our main schedule looks like for the month of February.
The culture minister maintains that all-around progress these Family Island parades make each year is undeniable, reiterating his ministry's intention to turn them into something more.
Well, I'm supposed to be on the flight for all, but I'm always looking forward to the advancement of the talent in the Family Island, because the NJC has done a tremendous job over the last 4 years going into the Family Islands and teaching them how to build, design, and create their costume, and even improving their musician skill set. And so every time you go to the Family Island Junkanoo, you see an improvement. And so that tells me that this is one of the reasons we want to turn into a festival, because these Junkanoo parades will just climax the festival, and we want to bring economic boost to the Family Islands.
Big weekend ahead for the sports world. Let's shoot it over to Amajal for a preview of what's ahead.
Global sprint stars in town for the inaugural Devin Charlton Invitational. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
Let's make this moment last forever. Let's start a family together with a house, a car, and kids. I love the way we live. I got it covered. BAF has got me covered. So live your life. BAF for life. So live your life. BAF for life. So live your life. BAF for life. BAF has got you covered. I know it.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Welcome to TGIF Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports this weekend. The stage is set for a major track and field showcase. The inaugural Devin Charlton Invitational set to get underway on Saturday. The one-day meet will be held at the original Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium, with the first race scheduled for 9 a.m. During the event's media day on Thursday, Charlton, along with Jamaican global hurdles champions Megan Simmons, formerly Tapper, and Danielle Williams, were on hand to lend support to the two-time world indoor champion. Devin on the inspiration behind the event.
The opportunity presented itself, and I was just like, if we're going to do it, I want it to be high-powered, high competition, and then I also wanted to bring in elite athletes just to be there and interact with the kids. I was explaining to Megan earlier, because she was just like, why'd you ask me to be here? Like, why invite me? And I think back to meets like the Chris Brown Invitational, when you had other elite athletes, and I got to meet people who I've only ever seen on television, so I wanted to kind of bring that, because it did something for me, just seeing people who I look up to competing on the same track that I train on every single day. And so it meant something. And so if I can do that and bring that to the athletes here in the Bahamas, why not take the opportunity?
Even though they won't be in competition, Simmons and Williams said it was important for them to be here.
Well, she asked.
Can't say no.
I wasn't going to turn her down, but mostly because I feel like it's my duty to give back
we've been given this talent, and if we're not using it to pave the way for the athletes coming after us, then what's the point? And so she asked, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? If I could lend my expertise to the young athletes who are coming up, and just let them know that, you know, we exist outside of track and field, and we're here to answer questions or just encourage them, then I'm all for it.
She asked, and you don't tell Devin Charlton no.
You can't tell Devin no.
Women's college basketball news last night. A thriller in Tuscaloosa as Yolette McPhee-McCoon and her Ole Miss Lady Rebels would take on the Alabama Crimson Tide in a top 25 showdown. Despite another 20-point game from Cody McMahon, it was not enough to lift the Lady Rebs. They would fall to Alabama 64-63. Some drama down at the end. Alabama's Diana Collins scored the final points of the game on a basket with 18 seconds left. Now, Ole Miss forward Cody McMahon made a shot with 10 seconds left in the game, but the Rebels would be called for an offensive foul. Next up for the Lady Rebs, a showdown with Arkansas on February 12th.
I mean, it is what it is. We've been on the road for 9 days, but we had a lot of opportunities to win the game. And when you're on the road, you can't leave it in the hands of the officials. Yeah, I mean, I was proud of them. We did what we were supposed to do on that. The last play, the ball was supposed to go to Christine, but Tosh must have saw a read, and so the timing was a little bit off. Christine was supposed to get the ball, but nevertheless, you know, that's life being on the road.
The Bahamas Basketball Federation has released its preliminary roster for the second window of the FIBA World Cup 2027 America's qualifiers, naming a pool to represent the country beginning on February 26th against Jamaica. The preliminary roster includes Adriel Martinborough, Godfrey Roll III, Aaron Labarity, Kai Jones, Travis Munnings, Dwyer Miller, Dan Red-Knowles, Michael Carey, Kadeem Colby, Nathaniel Bastian, Jacob Hanna, Jonathan Watts Jr., David Nesbitt, Garvin Clark, Zane Knowles, Samuel Hunter, Kentuan Smith, Isaiah Mobley, Teron Burrows, Jackson Jacob, Dominic Bridgewater, Franco Miller, and Rashad Davis. The Bahamas currently sits at the bottom of Group B with an 0-2 win-loss record. His first vice president of the BBF, Moses Johnson.
We're so excited. We're going with continuity. We have some of the regular names. We've released a roster of 24, but we'll narrow that down in the ensuing weeks to 12. And we'll narrow down, send out the team that we'll take to Jamaica as well as Puerto Rico. We're looking forward to this window because this now is a bounce-back window after losing 2 to Canada. So this would put it back into contention in the group so that we stay in the top 3 and advance to the second round.
And that's Look at Your Sports on this Friday. I'm Amajal Knowles. Enjoy your weekend.
Wait, where you grabbing all these pizzas, boy?
Wait, Marcos, wait. We have a special on all day large, 1 topping pizzas, wait.
Pineapple.
All.
Barbecue.
All. Hey, VAT included, but.
I need the $10 special plate. How many would you like? 20 in it. Thank you so much, man. $10, that's it. The Marcos got that deal, boy.
Edinburgh Napier University, Scotland's #1 modern university, is coming to Nassau. Join their free information session February 10th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the British Colonial Hotel. Study 100% online, flexible, and relevant. Visit scidegrees.com for details.
Hi, I'm Desmond Saunders. I want you to tune in to the new Weekend Edition, Saturdays and Sundays at 7 p.m., where we have a whole lot of new stuff for you. All right, so I'll give you a sneak preview. Boldly Bahamians, Sizzle Saturdays, Parliamentary Bench, just to name a few. So buckle up and get ready for the ride. Coming this fall, the new Weekend Edition. Stay close. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
I'm sure there's no need to tell you it's the weekend, so let's take a look at how our weather's shaping up. For that, we go over to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Hello, Basil.
Good evening, Colville. The high-pressure system continues to generate fresh breezes and some chilly temperatures around the islands. And your temperatures around the islands this evening, Marsh, Ababaco at 62. Already 58 degrees in Greenville, Keith, Freeport, Grand Bahama at 58 degrees. And they'll get some 40s later on tonight. The Berry Islands at 63, Alistown, Bimini 62. 64 in Harbor Island and Roxanne, Eleuthera, Otterstown, Cat Island 66 degrees. Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space, Andros at 65. Fresh Creek, Central Andros 63 degrees. 67 in Georgetown, Exuma. Roman Key and San Salvador 66 and more. 69s in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Meguana 71, Ackland 71, Matthew, Niagara 73, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 74 degrees. And your forecast tonight, clear to partly cloudy, still very breezy. The low temperature here in the capital should get down to about 57 degrees, but it'll feel more like 52 degrees when you factor in the winds in that as well. And then tomorrow, strong winds will continue under partly sunny skies. High temperature climbing up to 74 degrees. And extended weather forecast, breezy conditions right through Sunday. The sun comes out on Monday, lots of sunshine the balance of the week. And those temperatures, they're going to start climbing back up into the 60s as we head into Monday. Cover.
And Basil, that is our broadcast for this Friday, for this week. I'm Corbell Pyfrom for Amo, Basil, and our entire team. Take care, be well, have a good weekend, and come back and join us on Monday. Good night.
After 66 steps, I'm Matea Cunningham. This is ZNS.
What a difference a day makes. 24 hours.